Hello and welcome everyone to Selling Yourself Virtually. My name is William Russell, one of the talent development facilitators here at Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area. In today's workshop, we are going to learn the steps to prepare for a virtual interview, the platforms that many employers utilize, how to make positive first impressions, how to get interview ready and prepare for those interview questions. Finally, discuss how to close the interview on a high note, how to effectively follow up. 60% of HR managers use or have used video interviewing in the hiring process. These platforms have helped organizations to deliver a better hiring experience for their candidates and allow them to get to know the candidate's communication skills and personality while also getting all of their questions answered. Video interviews are 6 times faster than phone interviews and are becoming increasingly popular in recruitment. You can conduct 10 video interviews in the same amount of time as a typical phone interview, which is about 30 minutes. What almost every company is looking for is efficiency. And with video interviews, you literally get that efficiency. 72% of recruiters believe that automation and artificial intelligence will change their work. That being said, 13% report having already been affected by AI, while 25% state that executives in their place of employment are already preparing for the impact of artificial intelligence in the workplace. Now, there are also skeptics, represented by 55% of HR personnel, who say there will be no displacement due to artificial intelligence over a 3-year period. 84% of candidates schedule an interview within 24 hours of receiving a text invite. Job interview statistics have shown that when people get a job interview, they're eager to schedule it as quickly as possible. And it's natural for human beings to feel ecstatic after getting an invite for an interview. Still, sometimes this can be a bad decision, considering that 24 hours isn't always enough to get yourself well prepared for that interview. So what can we do to make sure that we nail it? If you scoured job boards and got your resume together and applied for a job, and you got the call to do your interview. We all know that interviews at the best of time can be nerve-wracking, but on top of those normal butterflies, say you're told that the interview is going to be virtual instead of in person. And while there are some obvious advantages, no need to travel, being in a comfortable space, you might need some reassurance on the whole experience of a virtual interview. Want to make sure that you read all emails from your recruiter carefully. The recruiter knows that a virtual interview might be a brand new thing for you. On top of sending you the interview schedule, they may send instructions on how to sign up. Want to make sure that we schedule the interview at a time when your energy level is high. May also receive instructions on how to use the video meeting platform. Be sure to review all the instructions prior to your interview day so that you can get questions answered. Make sure you fully understand the process. You should practice your responses to common interview questions. Try to get 3 to 5 success stories ready in your pocket. It's very likely that the interviewer will ask you, tell me about a time that you contributed successfully to blank. We want to make sure that we have those ready to go. You also may want to consider scheduling a mock interview. That is one of the services that we provide here at Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area. If you're interested in scheduling a mock interview, please reach out to any one of our offices. Also want to make sure that we check our technology. Simple as this may seem, make sure that your computer and internet are in good working order. Computer should be running on the most recent updates, and you'll need a reliable internet connection. You can check your internet speed at speedtest.net. And I would suggest running a test using a video chat app like Zoom or Teams with a friend before your interview just to confirm that everything is working properly. I would do this a couple of days in advance so that you aren't struggling with any technology issues the morning of. That can certainly add to your stress before the actual interview. Additionally, make sure that your computer is plugged in or that the battery holds enough charge for the entirety of the interview if you're using a laptop. An interview is a conversation, so the last thing that you want is to have to stop and start again. Now, employers use all of these platforms, not only for virtual interviews, but for internal communications with teams, field offices, or group meetings. So being proficient in all of these is a great way to gain skills that you will use in the current business landscape and help you stay up to date with the most recent current trends. You can always prepare using metrics. If you log into your Work in Texas profile to access online learning resources, you can navigate to Metrics Learning, complete the registration process to gain access to skill tracks, look for the digital literacy. Selecting this will give you more menu options. So once your registration is complete, once that process is over, you then will select Catalog, Skill Tracks. Then you will want to scroll down and choose Digital Literacy, and then Virtual Conferencing and Collaboration Apps. Get familiar with all the platforms because, as I said before, these skills carry into the workplace. For any particular training, you can just click on the green addition sign to add them to your training plan. Remember, we suggested running a video test with a friend. While doing that, check out what's behind you, how visible you are on the screen. You want the interviewer to concentrate on you, not be distracted by a TV in the background or your laundry on the couch or the fact that they can't see your face. Lighting is a huge factor that you might want to consider. Like all interviews, you want to put your best presentation forward, so make sure that your face is visible. Also ensure that the area is clean and well organized, and it's professional in the foreground and in the background. Close any windows or doors, shut off the TV, silence your phone. You want to minimize any possible distraction. If you're in a shared space, you may want to consider putting a note on the door, letting roommates or colleagues know that you are engaged in an interview and shouldn't be disturbed. You also want to dress like you're going to an in-person interview. Generally, if you wouldn't wear it in person, don't wear it in the virtual interview. Like all interviews, this is your opportunity to make a great first impression. You should look put together and professional, even from the comfort of your own home. Again, like an in-person interview, choose something that you would feel confident in. Your confidence will come across the screen, much like it would if you were in a meeting or an interview in person. Dress head to toe, wear colors that suit you, and I would also suggest to be mindful of any accessories. Research published in Social, Psychological, and Personality Science found that people wearing formal business attire had improved abstract thinking. Those clothes that we wear really do have an effect on our brain. To communicate effectively, you have to be mindful of both your tone of voice and your facial expressions. For example, not even the brightest tone in the world can convince anyone that you mean well if you say it with a frown or a scowl. If you have a flat tone of voice, not even a big smile can convince somebody that you're sincere and in a happy and pleasant mood. Another key to effective communication is body language. It's the nonverbal thread that ties the other two elements together. It has the power to punctuate the message that you're trying to convey. You want to impress your interviewers and make sure to optimize your work opportunities. You need to master the art of body language even when you're communicating remotely. Fortunately, expressing yourself through body language is not all that hard. All you need is a little bit of extra practice and to keep some of the following tips in mind. Eye contact is something that we often do instinctively when we're talking to other people in person. The mechanics are obviously different when you're doing a video interview. Instead of looking into another person's eyes, you should look directly into the camera instead. Looking at the other person or yourself on your screen will make it appear that you're looking elsewhere, which can lead to a feeling of disconnection. Would you like to learn how to be more interesting in interviews? Then you should show more interest in the other person. Do you know that this can be done simply by sitting up straight? Maintaining good posture during your interview conveys that you're attentive, willing to engage in conversation. Also helps you to project your voice better and more clearly. So, whenever you're interviewing virtually, make sure that you sit in a comfortable chair, one in which you'll be able to sit up straight for the entire length of the interview. There are two common types of people when it comes to hand gestures. There are those who use them too much and those that don't use them at all. I think I fall into the latter category, not the former. You should try to find a balance between these two. The easiest way to do this is to practice your interview with a friend and record that conversation. Resist the urge to fold your arms, to sit on your hands, put them in your pocket. At the very least, you should keep your hands free to make quick and simple gestures if needed. Finally, one of the most common interview mistakes is not allowing your personality to show through in the hopes that your act will make you seem more confident or professional. Unfortunately, this can lead to other people thinking that you're overly confident, or worse, that you're fake. Never forget to crack a smile, be yourself, and don't be afraid to show the subtle nuances that allow your authentic self and natural confidence to show through. Also will convey truthfulness and sincerity, values that your interviewer will be sure to appreciate. We have a quick video from YouTube on body language tips. I'm going to switch over to that really quickly.
Have you been to an interview recently, been perfectly qualified for the role, you've answered all the questions correctly, but still been rejected? Well, the answer could lie in your body language. Recent studies suggest that only 7% of your communication are the actual words you say. 38% are certain vocal elements like your intonation, but 55% is your non-verbal. Things like your facial expression, your gestures, your posture. So this video is going to look at the messages you've been sending out with your body language and how to tweak those to make sure you're sending out all the right signals at your next interview. So think about your body posture. A very natural thing for people to do is to slouch in the chair or fold their arms. And this looks like you're making yourself smaller, wrapping yourself up. And the signal you're giving off to the interviewer is that you're defensive or nervous. Instead, open up your body, don't cross your legs or fold your arms, but engage slightly forward from the waist, and this will give the appearance to the interviewer that you're interested. If you're jiggling about a lot in the chair, keeping changing your body posture, or you're playing with the button on your shirt or the ring or other objects, you're going to appear anxious and nervous, and certainly the interviewer is going to be less inclined to have confidence in you. So a really good tip is to first slow your breathing down. This will slow your heart rate and make you feel less nervy. Keep your hand gestures steady and only to emphasize a point. Palm upwards signifies that what you're saying is honest and trustworthy. Touching your heart signifies that what you're saying is genuine. Steepling is a sign of confidence. Conversely, clasping your hands is a sign of self-comfort and anxiety. So make sure you avoid these. Mirroring the interviewer is an effective technique, but it needs to be done very subtly. Mirroring hand movements or positive gestures, waiting 10 seconds though before you do it yourself. You can also mirror your speech, so their vocabulary, their jargon, the rate or volume of their speech. People trust those that are similar to themselves, so this makes the interviewer feel at ease, and you're more likely to build rapport with them. This is so important. Interviewees often avoid the gaze of the interviewer, or they look down. But by looking at the interviewer's eyes, you're asserting your confidence, your trustworthiness. Instead of staring at the interviewer, alternate your gaze between the left eye, the right eye, the mouth, maybe every 3 seconds, just enough to see the colour of the interviewer's eyes. For panel interviews, make sure you look at everybody, but specifically focus your attention on the person who's asking you the question or is speaking at the time. To avoid line signals, the main rule is avoid touching your face, so especially your nose, your mouth, your ears, your sideburns. These are all signs that will suggest to your interviewer that you're being dishonest with the way that you're answering their questions. So the handshake is an obvious one, but so many people get this wrong. It's the unspoken word that initiates conversation in any social or professional get-together. Too firm, and you'll seem too dominant. Too weak, and you'll seem underconfident. Instead, always initiate the handshake, match the interviewer's grip, apply the 1-2 second rule, smile, and repeat their name. By putting these body language tips into practice, you'll be giving off the right impression at your next interview. Now all you need to worry about is what you're actually going to say.
The most important part of the interview is the beginning. That's when you have an opportunity to make a great first impression. So we want to make sure that we are dressing appropriately for the interview. You research the employer the day of the interview, use what you learn to build rapport or make a connection with the interviewer. Now, I would suggest that you do this research before the day of the interview, and on the day of, refresh yourself. Keep your nonverbal signals in check and body language, and be a careful listener. Show that you have courtesy and an attitude of gratitude for being part of their hiring process to become a team member. So if you need access to LinkedIn Learning, please reach out to a Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area staff member. We can send you an email invitation to this resource at no cost to you. So in order to get interview ready, what questions will you ask your interviewer? Make sure that you have portfolio or notepad ready, keynotes for easy reference or talking points, if that's appropriate. Of course, have a copy of your resume on standby, and prepare your responses to interview questions about you and the position. You should already have a short answer to the most common question that starts off the modern interview process. Tell us a little about yourself. If you need help in preparing your responses for interview questions, ask about signing up for our interview workshop, or do so through workintexas.com. Maybe a good idea to record a mock interview with a friend. That way you can see any shortcomings that you have. You are able to check your lighting and your technology. We see with a couple of these examples, some very slight changes make a very, very big difference. So on the day of the interview, we want to make sure that you're not going to be interrupted. You have cleared your desk space except for a notepad. Have a copy of your resume, any other notes ready to go in case you need to answer questions and need that reference. Of course, check your webcam and your audio to make sure that that's working. Close any windows or tabs or applications on your machine that you're not using. Set your phone to silent. Make sure to check your background. Make sure that that's neutral, free of clutter, and looks professional. And of course, adjust your lighting as needed. And once the interview begins, make sure to take a deep breath, smile, Build rapport and leave a memorable first impression. Remember, this face-to-face interaction feels a bit different through a camera and may make you more anxious. Try to communicate effectively and break the ice with small talk that's professional and work appropriate. Listen to what others are saying, stay engaged in the conversation, be thoughtful, and be honest. You're shooting to sound genuine and not rehearsed. You don't want to sound like you're reading lines, you want to sound like you're speaking with someone. It almost always happens. There is some technical difficulty. There's always a chance that something can go wrong. So we want to make sure that we have backup plans just in case. So before the interview, ask the interviewer for a phone number where you can reach them if you experience any technical difficulties. If the video cuts out, call them at that number, ask if you can continue by phone or reschedule for a later date. If noises such as sirens or construction interrupt your video interview, apologize for the interruption, ask for a few moments until the noise subsides, and you may want to mute the microphone if the noise is sufficiently severe. Of course, if someone enters the room unexpectedly, a family member, a housemate, or a pet while you're interviewing, apologize to the interviewer, ask for a few moments, mute your microphone, turn off your camera, then step away to deal with the interruption. Make sure that the room is secure before beginning the interview again. You want to express your personality in a video interview. Don't be afraid to be yourself, because that can help set a great tone. This is where you as a candidate can really make an impact, stand out from the competition. It's part of the recruiter's job is to see if you'd be a good fit for the culture of their organization. You want to make sure that your energy, enthusiasm, and personality is the match that you're looking for. We want to make sure that we always end on a high note. So express your passion and your interest, your excitement at the opportunity. Always ask about next step in the interview process. My go-to is always, when will I hear back? When do you plan to make your decision? And give one last reassurance to the interviewer that you're the right person for this job. We have a fantastic closer here. I researched your company thoroughly. I was very excited about this interview. It has been reinforced by everything that I've learned today. I appreciate the time you've taken. I'm positive about my ability to really add value in this job. Is there anything else you need to know about me? Another good follow-up question for the interviewer is, have I answered all of your questions sufficiently? After the interview, we want to immediately follow up. Send a thank you email or message through LinkedIn. Bring up a memorable moment so that the hiring manager is putting a face to that name. And with that, we are done with our workshop, Selling Yourself Virtually. Now, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to any one of our local Workforce Solutions rural capital area offices and speak to any of our workforce development professionals. They will be happy to answer questions, point you in the right direction. Would like to thank all of you for taking your time to attend this workshop today. And good luck on your job search.